the weekend. Really good win. Tyson Fury, not so impressed. I love that video. He went to IG Live right after that happened. But what did you think of Joshua's performance? Again, I think he obviously won. He got the finish, but it's one of those things where I don't think he blew people away. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough, gritty veteran that he faced with Pulev. Pulev only has one loss, which is to Klitschko. And it was a tough fight. I knew it was going to be tough. I knew he had to figure him out. And I knew that if he was going to beat this guy, he was going to have to keep him on the ground. And that was the hard part with a guy like that. Very, very, very smart veteran guy. Knows how to survive, knows how to make things real dirty, and he did exactly what I thought he would do. And Joshua came in a little bit more with a little more fire in his gut. He came in to really – he was a little meaner. He was a little meaner, you know what I mean? And he needed to be meaner to get rid of a guy like that, because a guy like that you can't play nice with. So he did what he was supposed to do. Still, again, there's still I still see flaws, even though he's that good. He's so good that if you don't know what you're looking at, you can't really see his flaws. But I can still see holes where a guy like Fury can definitely take advantage of. Even Deontay Wilder can take advantage of.
Interesting. Well, I wanted to bring it up as well, just his performance, because, obviously what's looming is the Tyson Fury fight, right? So it's not like you can't be too risky, right? If you lose, you lose out on that big payday, you lose out on that fight. I mean, that's not something we really see in MMA too much, but in boxing, there are guys got to keep active. They got to keep going. What do you think that played into his performance as well? Just knowing that Fury was on the horizon, that he just had to win. It didn't really matter how.
At the level that they're on, the level that Joshua's on, everything's on the line every single fight going forward.
True.
For the last 3 years. I mean, you saw what happened when he lost to Andy. He lost everything, and he had to go get it back. Luckily, he had a chance to get it back. So everything is always on the line when you're the heavyweight champion and you have 3 belts and you're sitting at the top over there. Everything's on the line every fight. So, yeah. Yeah,
no, it was certainly interesting. Anything you're hearing in terms of when that Fury and Joshua fight could take place?
Oh, well, I'm hearing that they're going into negotiations now with Top Rank and Matchroom are talking now, and also Bob Arum's in the mix, and so we'll see how things play out. But another interesting thing that I heard was Saudi Arabia is in the play for that fight. So I'm hearing that that the purses may double or even get as high as they could possibly get if they go and take this fight to Saudi Arabia. But honestly, if I was them, I would do this fight at Wembley in front of 90,000. It only makes sense, right? They're both from the UK, and it only makes sense for them to do it in front of their crowd.
Well, I'm wondering then, do they delay it with all the COVID stuff? Because I know they can have a little bit of a crowd. Like we did get to see that in the Joshua fight. You could hear some fans in there, which was actually great. I mean, we haven't had that in the UFC all year. Do you think they wait a bit till they get more people in there? Or do you think they'll just do it just to get the timing right? Because I mean, COVID's kind of putting a wrench in things.
I don't. I honestly, personally, me, for the sake of history, I don't want this fight to be an empty stadium fight. This fight needs to be fully packed. Hell, I want to be there, so they better have a crowd in there, because I'm trying to be there. Yeah. So, I can't miss that. I was there the night that Andy Ruiz knocked out Joshua. We were in the building that night. Fanatics was in the building, and I don't want to miss that. I mean, that's the greatest night of boxing I've ever seen in my life. So that night where Tyson Fury fights Anthony Joshua should be in front of a crowd. And also, I don't think there should be a rush to try to get it in the first quarter. I think if we can't get it in the first quarter between January and April, I think they should wait for the summer. I mean, summertime, by the time they figured out what's going on with this whole COVID thing, and we'll be far more ahead with sports than we are right now.
Do you think there's any chance? I mean, they're both international guys. I mean, it makes sense, like you said, Wembley Stadium, but do you maybe go to the States just because of the COVID rules, or even Saudi Arabia? I think, you brought that up. Obviously, there's deep pockets out there, but you look at the UFC, they're going to Fight Island again next year. And part of the reason I think is because of the COVID stuff. There's no positive tests over there. Everyone's a little bit more controlled, as opposed to, say, in Vegas, where I'm sure we'll talk some MMA later, but I mean, they're really limping into the end of this year with some of these positive COVID tests. In fact, the UFC event we have this Saturday is not even happening, the original main event, because of a positive COVID test.
Yeah, I mean, if the opportunity presents itself and things, again, it just, first of all, I think that I think the UFC has a contractual binding agreement with whoever they made a deal with out there in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it's a definitely contractual binding situation, to where they're just gonna have to play this whole thing out according to the contract. I'm sure they paid a lot of money, And I'm sure the UFC is spending a lot of money to be there, and I'm sure that Saudi Arabia also spent a lot of money to have them there. No, it's Abu Dhabi, excuse me, paying a lot of money to have that deal over there. So I think they want to finish out that contract. And I guess because things still not as clear as it needs to be. The only thing that's clear right now that we know for sure in fight business is that Texas is wide open, so everybody goes to Texas. Everybody has a fight. I mean, you have everybody going to go have a fight there. But other than that, Nevada is still tough. Florida is good, but it's not really a fight capital. So Texas will allow fighting to be at its full capacity sooner than everybody else will. So if that presents itself, then shoot, go ahead and go and take that. But if I think in order for them, it should be Wembley first. If they can get that, they need to do it at home in front of that crowd, in front of their people. They're both from there. It only makes sense. If that's not available to them, then they should bring it to statewide. Because at least, we're here, and then I'm being a little biased, but we're here. And third, Saudi Arabia. But I think when it comes to money, I think Saudi Arabia is definitely